Welcome to another installment of Gamaliel Network's Organizing 101 series. For those of you who have been joining us over the last several weeks, either through our digital platforms or on our website, you have been learning a little bit more about what it means to be a community organizer and what community organizing does for the communities that we live in. We are joined today with another one of our senior organizers, David Leiners, who is the Executive Director of Wisdom. David, welcome. We're so pleased to have you here today. And I just gave you a little mini intro, but I'd like for you to talk with folks today about your role. You've worn lots of hats in this network. So what is your role in this network? And what kind of experiences have you had over the years that you think would be helpful to folks who are listening?
Sure. Yeah, I'm the state coordinator for Wisdom, which is the Gamaliel presence in the state of Wisconsin. Wisdom itself is kind of a network. We've got about a dozen local, sort of traditional, faith-based, congregation-based organizations, kind of spread all around the state of Wisconsin. The oldest of them being Micah in Milwaukee, which started in 1988. But we also have, as part of our network, Expo, Ex-Incarcerated People Organizing, which is itself a network of formerly incarcerated people that kind of tends to be in all the places Wisdom is. Wisdom other affiliates are. And we have the Menakanakem, which means Community Rebuilders, which is a project on the Menominee Indian Reservation. So my main job is to try to sort of coordinate all that, kind of keep all that together. And I also am the coordinator for the Gamaliel Transformational Justice effort, which is our lifting up of a national priority for criminal justice reform throughout the Gamaliel network. So I sort of coordinate that.
Okay, great. David, how many years have you actually been with the network?
It's going to be 25 very soon.
Wow, that's really incredible. You intentionally chose community organizing as a career path. Can you say more about why you chose that career path?
Sure. Well, my first career, way back, obviously when I was a child, because I wouldn't be this young and have done this for 25 years and have had another career before. But I was a Catholic priest in Chicago for about a dozen years and was actually involved there in some community organizing efforts in mostly big Latino neighborhoods on the south side of Chicago. When I decided not to continue with that path, organizing just seemed like the thing I wanted to do. I actually had great admiration for organizers when I was part of organizing as a pastor. And it just seemed like these were people who actually had something meaningful that they were doing every day. So when I moved up to Milwaukee, I got involved with Micah, the local organization here in the city of Milwaukee, and realized it was the same thing that I had been involved with there before. I had gotten involved kind of through the church that my wife and I were attending. And Micah had an opening and it was like, yeah, this is clearly what I want to do for the rest of my life. I really wanted to be involved in organizing. I just felt like it was a real chance to actually do something meaningful and make a difference and do it in a way that I could feel really proud of.
Yeah. You know, I think for people who are listening, David has really taken this idea of building out a state structure. I'm not even sure what word I want to use. I mean, Wisconsin, under David's leadership, has become a model for what we want to build across the network. They've built incredible state power. And a lot of it is, I think, David, the approach that you take in community organizing. You have a gift for really recognizing where people are at a particular moment in time and actually working with them from that point, not having a set of expectations that's beyond where they are. And you very patiently work with people and move them along, I think. And I think I know it's something that is unique to you, but I think I'm wondering too, if it's something that you had to learn along the way. And you don't necessarily have to answer that specifically, but I would like to know what kinds of learnings you've uncovered through the years that have really shaped you into the kind of organizer that you are, and that have helped you shape Wisconsin into this model structure for the rest of the network. And then any other learnings you want to throw on top of that, I'd love to hear.
Sure. So I think one of the things we've tried to do is to really stay reasonably decentralized so that we can build a statewide organization, but people really feel ownership at the local level. So there's a very real sense in which I always tell people all we have to offer is we give people the opportunity to organize. We give people a structure within which to do it. But it really is going to requires people building relationships with each other, and it requires people kind of finding common cause with each other and communicating and building things out from the bottom up. That it's not a matter of going to the state board and proposing a new issue. It's a matter of organizing among themselves with each other. One of the things Greg Galuzzo used to talk about fractals every so often. But one of the things I really believe in is that kind of the same reason that my congregation belongs to Micah in Milwaukee should be the same reason that Micah belongs to Wisdom, the statewide organization, which is the same reason that Wisdom is part of Gamaliel. Like in every case, it's a chance for us to organize with more people to be able to deal with things at a higher level, to be able to build support with each other across the way. So my sense is that I'm not quite as patient as you make me out to be. I one time said in frustration to one of my colleagues, I would love this community organizing thing if it wasn't for the people. I think it really is a matter of bringing people together and then letting people kind of find their own foothold and find their own direction. I think as an organizer, you have a lot of chance to have influence over that. You have a lot of chance to help support people. You have a lot of chance to introduce people. That's what I was doing most of this morning, was actually sending notes to people saying, you should know this person, you should know that person, and that sort of thing. So I feel like that's very much what we can do, and then build the structures as they come. It's important to build structures, but you want to build a structure that reflects what's going on, as opposed to building the structure first and then try and make people fit into it.
Yeah, that's great advice, especially as our network is embarking on trying to build out statewide structures. So we've got people watching, some of whom may actually be thinking about community organizing as a career path for themselves. And some people who are watching who may be thinking about investing in the work that we do. What advice would you give to those two groups of people?
First, I would recommend becoming an organizer. I enjoy it greatly. I mean, it kind of, as I alluded to before, it can get very frustrating from time to time, and it's very, very long-term work. So, you have a lot of, it sort of feels like it's, sometimes a lot of short-term immediate things you need to deal with, but it's really about building something very long-term. I mean, I've kind of come to realize I've been here for 25 years, and, I'm not going to be here for 25 more years, but I mean, this organization is going to need another 25 just to get where it needs to go, to become what it needs to become. So I think getting involved, the reason it is, I honestly, I get up every morning and feel like what I do is important. Like it really matters. Like there are people who really are finding their voice here, and there are issues that are really matters of life and death, that it's really important that we do our job well. And I like that. I mean, it can be tiring,
Uh-huh.
but I like the fact that that I really feel every day like it really matters to me. And it matters to other people that I do my job, and it matters that I do it right, and that I do it well. As far as funding, uh, I would just say this again, this is really long-term work, and it's about investing in people, and it's about investing in bricks in the wall. It's not something to invest in if you're looking for a really big, splashy short-term return. Every so often we'll do a big splashy thing to keep people interested and to get in the newspaper and to energize people and stuff. But really, this work is about transforming individuals. It's about transforming communities. It's about transforming the larger society. And we do that, over the course of a long time. So I guess people who are looking to fund us, I think, get to know us,
Mhm.
get to know the people that we're working with, get to actually see what it looks like on the ground, who some of the folks are who are finding their voice, and then trust us. Trust us that we're gonna keep plugging away, and we're gonna keep doing things that it may not necessarily go in a straight line all the time. But we are in fact building and building, and we are in fact having an influence, making some difference.
That's great. And we are, and I know that Wisconsin has had significant impact, particularly in the criminal justice work that you're engaged in, but Wisconsin Wisdom, that network, has had significant impact. David, I want to thank you for spending the time with me today. And I want to say to folks out there that we will have another installment next week, and you will meet yet another one of our senior organizers and learn a little bit more about what community organizing is through the eyes of a practitioner. So until then, we'll see you later. Thanks, David.